Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, the What If guy, back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Issei inherits Metatron's power. Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. The soul, the embodiment of God's desire for humanity, the symbol of free will, free thought. In the beginning, God created the world and made the skies, seas, and land. Shortly afterward, he made humans and animals. Within the humans, he gave them each a soul. Free will, however, comes with a price. Adam and Eve, the first humans, disobeyed the orders given by God as they could with their free will. This is known as the story of Adam and Eve to humanity and represented a change in the thinking of God. God attempted to alter the soul, giving him control of humanity by that time which had multiplied exponentially. However, with the fall of Lucifer with a third of heaven's population, as well as the fall of Azazel and his group of angels, God had other things to deal with. So God quickly created a realm known as Purgatory, a place to keep the souls of dead angels, fallen angels, and devils, before focusing on eliminating the devils and fallen angels. As such, God delegated the role of protector of Purgatory to Metatron, who acted as God's voice to the lower-level angels. God never told Metatron of this enormous responsibility. God feared that if Metatron knew of the power he possessed, he too would fall from heaven as did Lucifer and Azazel. The only one that God told of Purgatory was God's first son, Michael. God soon declared war on the devils and fallen angels afterward, and the struggle between the three factions became known as the Great War. Causal ties started mounting on all sides, and Purgatory quickly filled up in population. God anticipated that the war would end soon, and started planning on how to punish the devils and fallen angels' souls in Purgatory, but the war would soon claim his life. With God, the 4 original Satans, and numerous leaders in the fallen angels dead, an uneasy truce between the 3 factions ensued. Metatron, the protector of Purgatory, survived the war and helped lead heaven after God's death under the leadership of Michael. Michael turned most of his attention on rebuilding heaven, but remembered to keep a close eye on Metatron, as God had instructed him shortly before his death. Metatron was an eccentric angel to say the least. Metatron pretended to be a ninja, much to the displeasure of top-level angels, especially Michael. Michael was displeased as this made Metatron's movements untraceable, and Metatron would disappear for years at a time without telling anyone where he was or what he was doing. Michael eventually let Metatron do his own thing, as Michael was confident in Metatron's ability to survive on his own. Michael is concerned with Metatron's survival as God mentioned a failsafe, should Metatron die. God never told what the failsafe was, and Michael was left trying to figure out the failsafe. Michael eventually managed to tell Metatron to visit every few months, a radical departure from disappearing for years at a time. And so, the story begins on a stormy night, 17 years ago. Oceans near Okinawa. April 12, 1996. Metatron, you can't run from me. A banshee's voice echoed through the storm. There are 2 figures flying over the Pacific Ocean near Okinawa, which is currently experiencing a typhoon. As such, the seas are very rough, the rain extremely heavy, and the winds exceeding 300 kilometers per hour. Even so, there are 2 figures over the seas, one giving chase to the other. Penemu, stay away from me. The seraph Metatron shouted at Penemu as he flew away from her. Penemu, the only female cadre-level fallen angel, grinned as she heard these words. The black-haired, busted beauty of a fallen angel readied 10,000 light spears and launched all of them at Metatron, who is still in a ninja outfit. Ah! Metatron said as he saw the light spears, and turned sharply to avoid the light spears. So, you want to fight Penemu? You've got one now. Metatron said as the light spears crashed into the ocean. Metatron created thousands of light spears, and Penemu did the same. The spears launched at each other, hit each other, causing a brilliant flash of light and a deafening sound. The 2 continued to throw light spears at each other as the storm around them intensified. Lightning crashed in the backdrop of this battle, which raged for over 30 minutes. It isn't every day that two 10-winged angels do battle with the intent of killing each other. Eventually, Penemu gained the upper hand, sending Metatron on the retreat. Penemu managed to grab Metatron by the throat and held him up. "This is for Gadriel and Turul," Penemu shouted as she sent 3 light spears into Metatron's torso. Metatron yelled out in pain before laughing at Penemu. "What's so funny?" Penemu demanded. "Look at your dress," Metatron said as he coughed and gagged. Penemu looked down and saw a light spear that ripped through her purple robe and pierced her stomach. "I laced it with my special poison," Metatron said as he laughed. Metatron continued laughing as Penemu looked down in shock. Metatron's poison was very well known through the mythological world for its strength and potency, and there have been no recorded cases of fallen angels or devils surviving it once it is injected into their body. "I'll see you in hell," Metatron joked with his final breath before succumbing to death. Metatron's lifeless body fell into the Pacific as Penemu started to wheeze violently. Penemu then started foaming at the mouth as her wings went up in flames. Soon after, Penemu's body joined Metatron's body in the Pacific. Both of their bodies were never found, but Michael knew that Metatron had died. It is said that when Michael found out about Metatron's death, Michael remarked, "Let's see what failsafe you had in mind, father." 17 years later, Issei Hyoudou is, for all intensive purposes, a normal boy who grew up in Japan. He had a normal life, an unremarkable family, and a normal childhood. He played sports growing up, watched cartoons, and made friends. You know, normal child stuff. However, Issei had a problem throughout his childhood. He would often have massive migraines that came out of nowhere. These migraines would leave him hospitalized for days, and no one knew what caused it. Doctors tried to find a cause for it, but their search was in vain. However, when Issei turned 10, the migraines went away. No one knew why, but no one cared as Issei was cured of those debilitating migraines. Eventually, Issei went into high school like most other teenagers. He went to Kuo Academy and became friends with boys by the name of Matsuda and Motohoma. Both were notorious perverts at Kuo Academy, a school that was predominantly female, owing to the school's many years as an all-girls school. Issei, however, didn't often indulge in their activities with his friends. Issei mainly kept to himself, played video games and watched, shall we say, inappropriate videos. Issei, like many boys his age, often dreamed about his first date and kiss. The moment that every boy dreams about occurred 5 days ago. "Would you go out with me?" the girl, Yuma Amano, asked Issei as he went home after school. "Of course, Yuma-chan," Issei said happily. "How's Friday?" Yuma asked shyly. "Very good," Issei shouted happily. "Great. See you then, Sei," she shouted as she turned around and left. Now, this would all be great, but the girl Yuma Amano was in reality a fallen angel by the name of Rainer. She was supposed to watch him only, but she got other ideas and tried to murder him. "Issei, can I ask you to do something for me?" Yuma asked Issei at the end of their date. "Of course, Yuma-chan," Issei said as Yuma smiled. Yuma leaned in and whispered into Issei's ear. "Will you die for me?" She whispered in his ear. "I must have heard that wrong," Issei thought. "Oh no, Yuma-chan, can you please repeat that?" Issei asked. "Sure," Yuma said as her date outfit was ripped apart as black wings sprouted from her back. Her outfit was replaced by a sand M outfit, an outfit that barely covers anything. "Will you die for me?" she said as she materialized a light spear in her right hand. Issei, frozen due to shock, helplessly looked on as Yuma threw the spear at him. "No. I'm going to die of version," he thought in his head. "No, you're not." A male voice echoed in his head as a tremendous flash of light appeared in front of Issei. An enormous amount of power was released as a beam of light shot into space. Grigori headquarters. "Such a tremendous amount of aura," Azazel remarked, looking out of the ornate window in his office at Grigori headquarters. "The underworld. What unbelievable power." Serzex and Seraphal remarked at the same time in their respective chambers at the Satan's palace in Lilith. "Heaven. So, it has been revealed," Michael said, smiling as he felt the power. It was unmistakable to him. This was the power that his brother, Metatron, once possessed. Michael pressed a button underneath his desk, and soon after, 2 angelic magical circles appeared in his office. "You called for us, Michael-sama?" The seraphs Raphael and Uriel asked their lord and brother. "Just go to the location of that power surge and secure the source." Michael said to the 2 seraphs. "Yes, Michael-sama." They shouted in unison as a magical circle took both of them away. Back with Issei. Rainier shielded her eyes from the immense brightness of the blast. When she lowered her hands, she saw a sight she couldn't believe. There he was, Issei Hyoudou blocking the light spear with one finger, an evil smirk on his face. "Ah, it has been so long since I've had a mortal body," Issei said in a deep, sadistic voice. Issei stared at Rainier, who looked at him dumbfounded. "So you are the one to thank for my release, fallen angel? I'd suppose I should thank you, but I haven't killed anything in some time, so I'll kill you now," Issei said as his eyes turned pitch black. "Don't make me laugh. A human can't kill me," Rainier said haughtily. She materialized another spear, which she chuckled at Issei, who simply smiled. "Do they give these out to kids now?" Issei said disgustedly, catching the light spear in his hand before snapping it in half like a twig. "Come now, I'll give you one more chance to kill me. That is the least I can do for freeing me from that place," Issei said, goading on Rainier. "Die already," she shouted, creating 2 light spears which she chuckled at Issei. Issei caught one light spear and parried the other one with the first. "Game over, fallen angel," Issei said as Rainier's wings and arms became pinned to the ground by dozens of light spears. Rainier screamed out in pain as she was forced to the ground on her back. "This is all I can do? I've gotten weaker," Issei remarked to himself. "Now Yuma's the name, right?" Issei said as he walked up to the pinned Rainier. "Issei, don't kill me please," Rainier shouted out at Issei, who kneeled down to get a closer look on her face. "So, that's the kid's name. Issei?" Issei said, running his right hand on Rainier's face before giving her a violent backhanded slap. "So Rainier, why'd you come after my host?" "Nothing that I'm complaining of anything," Issei asked Rainier, who gritted her teeth in response. "Like I'd tell you anything, monster," Rainier shouted at Issei, who stood back up. "Takes a monster to know one. Since you don't want to talk, I have other ways of getting the information," Issei said as he bent over to put a hand on Rainier's forehead. Rainier shook her head, squirming until Issei pinned her down by the throat with his left hand and touched her forehead with the right hand. "I see, Azazel," Issei said, standing back up. "How do you know about Azazel-sama?" Rainier asked at Issei, who simply smirked at her. "Wouldn't you like to know?" "I know many things, child," Issei said hatefully. Who are you?" Rainier asked fearfully. I go by many names. Halo, Venus, Morningstar. But you may know me as Lucifer," Lucifer said, smiling at the fallen angel, who was absolutely terrified. "Impossible," Rainier said, trying to break free from Lucifer's crushing grip. "Oh, is it? Ye of little faith," Lucifer said, standing back to his full height before stomping on Rainier's torso with his right foot. "Well, it's been nice to chat, but I should be going now," Lucifer said as Rainier's eyes started to bleed. "No. What is happening to me?" she shouted in absolute agony. "You're dying from the inside out," Lucifer said as he took his foot off Rainier, who was screaming now. "First, you'll die from the shock due to the pain, so it should be over in about 10 seconds," Lucifer said as he stared at Rainier, who was screaming at the top of her lungs in writhing pain. 10 seconds passed before Rainier's scream stopped. "Ah, what a beautiful world," Lucifer said before his body started to tremble. You can't bring me back inside, old man," Lucifer shouted out loud. Lucifer struggled to regain control of his muscles, which are violently twitching. Lucifer then fainted, leaving Issei's body lying on the cold, hard park ground. Less than 5 seconds later, light appeared in the park, piercing the darkness around it. "So this is what brother wanted us to retrieve?" A male voice said as two magical circles materialized near Issei's body. Of course, brother. Another male voice said. One male was a tall male with flowing brown hair, and the other male was a short male with messy black hair. Both are wearing white robes and possess white halos above their heads. The most noticeable feature, however, was that the figures each possess 10 pearl white wings protruding from their backs. I hope we are not too late. The first male said, walking up to Issei's body. He isn't dead, Raphael. His aura is still present. Uriel said to Raphael, who picked up Issei's unconscious body. You're heavy, aren't you? Raphael smirked as he carried Issei like he was a child. Raphael, you feel the devil watching us? Uriel asked his brother. Yes, the one in the trees? Raphael said. Yep. What should do? Uriel asked. We don't have any orders to kill tonight, so we should let it leave. Raphael said. Let me have some fun though. Uriel said with a smirk, turning his back towards the direction of the devil, who was hiding in the trees. Devil! You have 5 seconds before the tree you are in goes up in flames. Uriel shouted in that direction. 5. Uriel said, holding up 5 fingers in his right hand. 4. Lowering one finger. 3. Lowering another finger. 2. Lowering yet another. 1. Lowering the remaining pinky. The tree combusted, but a small white-haired girl was observed jumping of the tree moments before Uriel set the tree on fire with his famous holy flames. Come, brother. Let's bring the Keeper of Purgatory to heaven. We can't keep Michael waiting. Raphael remarked as a magical circle underneath him and Uriel teleported them back to heaven in a brilliant flash of light. Where am I? Issei Hyoudou, asked myself as I opened my eyes. This isn't Kuo. I blinked my eyes to adjust them to the surroundings. Lots of trees. I get up off the ground and stand up. I'm still wearing the clothes that I wore when I had my date with Yumichan. Wait, didn't she try to kill me? Am I dead now? Am I in hell? I've been a bit of a pervert, but that doesn't mean I should go to hell. Alright, say, calm down. First, where are you? I appear to be in some type of woods. There are no woods anywhere near Kuo, or anywhere near my area of Japan for that matter. The temperature feels warm, so I must be in a tropical area. Yeah, that's it. I'm in some type of tropical area, and not hell. Okay, I'll try to find my way out of here, get some help and go back to Japan. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Alright, let's see if I can see the sun. Nope. The trees obscure the sky from my view. The sky appears a faint purple. What? Alright, since I don't have that benchmark guiding me, I'll just start walking. I started walking in a straight line, over the bumpy dirty road in front of me. There are many plants lying near the ground, low-hanging berries of numerous colors hanging from the trees overhead. I could reach for berries, but I'm not that hungry right now, and I know better than to eat something that is unknown to me. Alright, I think I've been walking in a circle right now. This looks just like the place that I awoke from. I checked my watch. 5:42 p.m. Growl. I turned around as I heard a low-pitched growling sound. That doesn't sound good. I scanned the wooded environment, looking for the origin of the sound. I could hear something running towards me, given the sounds of crushed leaves and cracked branches. A black animal soon popped out from the woods in front of me. A black boar. A very large black boar. It is growling at me. Alright, Issei, slowly back up. No sudden movements or else it will charge at me and make it its dinner. I slowly backed up, staring at the boar as I moved backwards. I tripped backwards and the thing started charging at me. I'm dead. I closed my eyes and waited for the end. I don't want my last sight to be a charging boar spearing me with its tusk. What? Am I still alive? I heard a squeal in front of me. I first felt my entire body, looking for any cuts or stabs from the boar. None. Alright, good. Time to open my eyes. I see a figure with his back turned to me. I see the pig, a spear stuck into its head. The pig is bleeding a lot from its head. I turn my head away as I don't like to see any death. I turned back to see the figure turn around to me, carrying the boar on his shoulder and a spear in his left hand. I can see that the man is a foreigner, an old one at that. He looks to be about 60 or so years old. He has a full white beard, white hair bangs covering his eyes, and his face shows the signs of his age. His eyes, such powerful blue eyes that are staring right at me. He is wearing a torn-up white toga and sandals. Where am I? I asked the man. He looked confused for a second, but then started to move his mouth. Why you are here, son? The man replied in Japanese. Where exactly is here? Where is here? I asked the old man as I heard thunder in the sky. No time to say. Come, follow me if you want shelter. The old man said as he turned around and sprinted into the forest. How is such an old man so fast? I ran after him, keeping him in my sights. I think we ran about 400 meters or so as we reached the base of a mountain. Rain started to come down, heavy, soaking me from head to toe. The old man went into an opening in the mountain that has a boulder lying near the entrance. Come, son, help me move this boulder. The old man said, re-emerging from inside the cave without the spear or the boar. I nodded and helped push the boulder in front of the entrance, leaving a little room so that the old man and I could go inside. It is very dark inside the cave as the old man guided me through the dark cave. I see nothing as the man forced me to sit down. I then hear objects being grinded together, creating sparks that let me briefly see in the darkness, before a fire was started in front of us. Who are you? I asked the old man. The old man started down at the ground for a long time before looking up at me. It has been a long time since someone asked me that. My name is Cain. He said, Cain, what an interesting name. Who are you, my son? He questioned me. My name is Issei Hyoudou. I said back to him, Nice to meet you, Issei. He said as he got up and went to get the boar to put over the fire. Say, where are we? I asked the old man as his face became visible again in the darkness. We are in Purgatory. Wait, what? What? This is Purgatory? I shouted back at the old man. Indeed, young one. The power you possessed in life prevented you from going to hell. He said back kindly as I stared at him. What are you talking about? Hell doesn't exist. He just stared at me as I looked at him. Son, do you believe in God? He asked me. Why would he want to know that? Not really. I'm sure there is one out there, but I don't believe in him. I said back. Son, he is real. He created everything. Me, this place. This prison. The old man said as his voice trailed off. Did I say something bad? So tell me, son, how did you die? The old man asked as he stared intently at me. I was killed by my girlfriend. She had black wings and killed me with a spear that appeared out of nowhere. I said this as the man became interested. Oh, tell me, did the spear look like it was made out of pure light? How did he know? Why, yes. Now that you mention it, it was made out of light. I said to him, you were killed by a fallen angel. Fallen what? A fallen angel? I stuttered out. Yes, a fallen angel. You know the story of Lucifer and Satan, right? He asked me as I nodded. Good. So you know that Lucifer fell from heaven with a third of heaven's followers. These followers became devils. He said, devils? There isn't just one? Devils? There's more than just one. I asked him. Yes. Devil isn't the name of one being. It is the name of a species, just like human or dog. He said before continuing on with his interesting story. Shortly afterward, another angel named Azazel fell with some more angels, and they became known as fallen angels. They fell due to their lust, greed, or other human vice, but still retained their light-based abilities given to them by God. He said as I nodded. So, you have been killed by one of these fallen angels. The question is why? He said to me with questioning eyes. I don't know why she would kill me. I'm just an average person. I shouted at him. Or so you think. The fallen angels wouldn't just go around killing people for the fun of it, otherwise they'd provoke Michael into action. He said as I heard the name Michael. Michael? Who's that? I asked him. He stared back at me with a puzzled look. So you don't know. Tell me, can you keep a secret? He said to me, Of course. I replied. Okay then, I'll tell you what happened. There are a big war between the devils, the fallen angels and the angels many years ago. God and the 4 original Satans, yes there are 4 Satans, died in the war. Of course, no one except for Michael and a select few know of this. He said to me, "Why?" I asked him, "Imagine a world without God. Can you imagine what would happen? The lawlessness, the chaos. Religion is what keeps people from killing each other on the streets every day. It was in heaven's best interest to keep God's death a secret." He said as I thought about something. "How do you know all of this?" I asked as he looked me in the eyes. "Do you know who I am? I am Cain, son of Adam and Eve." "He's a murderer." "Calm down, young one. I do not wish to harm you. All the time in this place has given me time to reflect on what I did to my brother Abel. I was rash and arrogant back then. I've had time to reflect." He said looking back at me. "But still how do you know of such things?" I asked him. "God and the Satans are here, young Issei. They are in purgatory with us." He said to me as I recoiled in shock. "Don't people just die and never return?" I asked as he chuckled. "Hey, no young one. Everyone, no matter what they are, goes somewhere in their afterlife. The righteous go to heaven, the dead go to hell. Everyone else comes here." He said as I became confused. "Everyone else?" I asked him. I should have put it better. Good people and beings go to heaven, bad people and beings go to hell. But there are many that simply can't go to hell or heaven. They are just too powerful. Monsters and gods don't go to heaven, they go here. God's storage closet. He said. "Gods? There is more than one God." I asked. "Yes, of course. Mythological gods are real. Zeus, Hades. All are real as you and me. Now imagine a Greek god going to heaven. Isn't that a bit of a problem?" He said as I pondered his words. "It is indeed a problem. Indeed. So why are you here?" I asked him as he shook his head. "That's the thing. I was around since the being, so I expected to go to hell, which was originally a second world that God had made, just in case if he was displeased with Earth. Anyway, I roamed the Earth before coming here all of these millennia ago. I guess heaven didn't want me and heaven couldn't take me." He said with a chuckle. "So, what exactly do you do here?" I asked him, thinking about what could possibly be used to pass the time in this place. "Survive by hunting animals and avoiding them." He said as I raised my eyebrows. "Them?" I questioned him. Yes, I forgot to tell you. God and the Satans are both in purgatory, so naturally there would be conflict. The battle lines here are much more fractured though. Everyone is carving up purgatory's territory. There is fallen angel territory, devil territory, Greek territory, Aztec territory. You name it, they're here. The place we are in though, it is a no man's land. No one wants it lest they risk provoking the other factions into a full-scale war. He said as I nodded. "Whose side are you on?" I asked him as I stared up at me with an amused expression. "No one's. LV under them and risk letting them take your soul? No thanks." He spoke out as the boar started to char. "Take your soul?" I asked. "There are many things you will learn, young one. You need not know of this right now. Come, let us eat." He said to me as he took the boar off the fire with a sharpened stick. "Issei." I heard a male voice shout out to me. I looked at Cain, who looks just as confused as me. "Issei, your time is not now. Come back to the world." The voice said as I felt lighter. I looked down at my body, which was glowing and disappearing. Cain stood up and stared at me. "A little help here. It looks like your time is not yet, young Issei. I believe we will meet each other again in the near future." Cain said as light overcame my eyes. "Issei, wake up." The male voice said to me as I felt a nudge on my shoulder. I opened my eyes to a white room. I'm in a completely white room surrounding by many people with white wings. Wait, wings? Angels. I'm sitting in a chair at the long end of a table, and there is someone sitting opposite of me. A foreign man with blonde hair and green eyes and wearing an impressive shoulder plate. "My name is Michael, and we have much to discuss, Issei." "Michael? The one Cain was telling me about?" "Do not be alarmed, Issei. I do not wish to harm you." Michael said as angels stood next to Michael's grand white chair. There is a woman there with huge épée next to him. Issei, you are in heaven now, and you will stay here as you fulfill your destiny. Michael said to me, folding his hands in front of him. My destiny? I asked Michael. Yes, you are the King of Purgatory. He said to me. King? Cain just told me I was in Purgatory, not the king of it. I know this might be shocking to you, but let me explain. Michael said as he put his hand up. No need, I already know. I said, causing the angels next to him to raise their eyebrows. Michael himself didn't show any reaction when I said this. Tell me, what do you know? Michael asked of me. There was a war long ago between devils, fallen angels, and you angels. In the war, God and the 4 original Satans died. I said as Michael stared at me before nodding his head. It is true, Father perished during the Great War. Tell me, Issei, how do you know of this? Michael asked me. Cain told me. I said as the angels gasped. Don't listen to the liar, Cain. The blonde-hair woman with large BRSTS next to Michael shouted out. Silence, Gabriel. Michael said, raising his voice and turning his head to the woman, whose name is Gabriel, I guess. Issei, what other information did Cain tell you? Michael said as he turned his head back to me. Cain told me of many factions in Purgatory and of its many inhabitants. I said to Michael, who simply smiled as an handsome male angel rushed over to his side, whispering something to his ear. Good point. I almost forgot about that. Michael said, putting his hand on the angel's shoulder. Issei, this is Bartholomew. He is one of heaven's best magicians, and is the only angel here who has gone to Purgatory before. Michael said as I looked at Bartholomew. He was a figure rivaling Kiba's pretty boy charms. He looks to be an older version of Kiba. It is almost as if he was Kiba's older brother. Damn it. All pretty boys should just die. Bartholomew briefly bowed to me before whispering something else in Michael's ear. Michael nodded at whatever Bartholomew said. Issei, you are not only the King of Purgatory, but the wielder of something else. Something powerful and beautiful. Michael said with a smile. I questioned his intentions as I started at the other angels in the room, who look very happy. What are you talking about? I asked. You are the wielder of the boosted gear. He said with a beaming smile. And? What is that? It seems you are confused. Gabriel, explain. Michael said as the woman with large beards and blonde hair stepped forward. This will be a large explanation, so please bear with me. Gabriel said to me as I nodded. The boosted gear is a sacred gear, an object created by our Father and given to humans. The sacred gears were given to humans to perform miracles by the grace of our Father on earth, and the sacred gears fulfill this task in various capacities. Your sacred gear is part of a more exclusive group of sacred gears, called Longinus gears. These Longinus gears, numbering only 13, have the ability to kill gods or Satans once the potential of the wielder is fully realized. Gabriel finished. What? I am the King of Purgatory and the wielder of this boosted gear. Also, adding on to what Gabriel already said, your boosted gear is quite powerful. It contains the soul of Draig, one of the 2 heavenly dragons. Michael said, a dragon is inside of me? Wait a minute. Wait, soul? I thought souls could only go to heaven, hell, or purgatory. I questioned Michael. That normally would be correct, but not in this case. You see, these 2 dragons rampaged throughout the world many years ago, and as punishment, we sealed the souls of the dragons into 2 sacred gears. The one you possess, and another one called the Divine Dividing, which contains the soul of Albion, the other heavenly dragon. Michael answered as I digested the information. Okay then, how do I use this sacred gear? I asked as Michael smiled. There is a time for that later, Issei. We have more pressing things to deal with. Michael said. Such as? I raised my eyebrows and if on cue, Michael started to speak. Yes, we need you to do something first before we proceed. Michael said as I nodded. What is it? We need you to kill Lucifer. Michael said with the utmost seriousness. So you want me to kill the devil that is within Purgatory, which is somehow inside of me. How exactly do you want me to accomplish this? Okay, and how do you propose I kill the devil? I sarcastically asked Michael. I will lend you some of my power, so that you will go inside of purgatory. Then call on God and Lucifer to appear as you have the power to do so. Accept God, and together, you will banish Lucifer from the confines of purgatory forever. Michael said as he teleported next to my chair. Jesus Christ, that was fast. Stay calm, Issei. Michael said as he put his right palm on my temple. His hand. So cold. I just appeared in the middle of nowhere, inside of purgatory. Damn it, you could have given me a warning or something like that before zapping me to purgatory. I appear to be in a clearing somewhere in purgatory. A field of grass under a dark purple sky. Okay, calm down, Issei, and just do what he says. God. Lucifer. Come out. I command it. I shouted up at the purple sky. And just like that, 2 columns of fire descended from the sky. One column appeared to the right of me, the other to the left. When the light from the fire pillars died down, I could see 4 figures on each side. On the right, there is a bearded man with a staff, a brown-haired man in a monk's outfit, a white-haired woman with long hair in a white dress, and a ninja. All of these people have angel wings appearing out of their backs, each having 10 pearl white wings, except the bearded man, who has 14 wings. On the other side, I see a handsome man with blonde hair in a medieval style of armor, a black-haired man with a thin beard who is wearing clothes of a Shinto priest, a woman with big BRSTS and red hair in a business suit, and the last member is a bald man without a shirt, showing his muscular upper body. Stop showing off your awesome body. I can feel the power coming from each one of these beings. Their power is much greater than that of Michael. The woman with red hair is staring at me while licking her lips. God and Lucifer, I presume? I asked jokingly. It is finally nice to meet with you, Issei. The bearded man on the right said. Good. As it is with you, God. I said back before turning my sight to the other group. Lucifer. Who is with you? I asked Lucifer. I honestly want to know. Asmodeus. Beelzebub. Leviathan. He said as a person stepped up when their name was called. Diamond, Leviathan is a hot woman. Very nice. I said as I stared back at God's group. Metatron. Sarah. Ragel. God said as the ninja, the woman, and the monk stepped forward in that order. Well, I assume you know why I am here? I asked as God and Lucifer nodded. Hee, Michael asked you to come here? To kill me? Issei, what do you want? Don't listen to Michael, join our side. We will give you anything you want. Michael said as Leviathan stepped to his side. Lucifer, you know you can't corrupt another pure child here. Issei, do the right thing. God said. Both compelling arguments. I think I've made my choice. God. I choose you. I said as I ran towards God, who has his arms open. I reject this. I heard Lucifer scream as I heard magical spells being casted. Metatron. God shouted as I neared him. Metatron ran past me as did Ragel. I ran into God's arms, and I felt his power being absorbed into body. It is tremendous, such power. I screamed as his power rushed through my very body. I turned around and Sariel put her hands into my body. Her power was also absorbed by me. I screamed as I turned and faced the battle happening in front of me. Such power! Metatron and Ragel blocked Lucifer's, Asmodeus's, Leviathan's, and Beelzebub's attacks. I could barely focus as Sariel's powers became my own. I focused my hands at Metatron and Ragel and began to absorb their powers. How am I doing this? I have no idea as their bodies turned into pure light, which rushed at my fingertips. I felt wings sprout from my back. Such pain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no 8. 8 pairs of wings came out from my back. I felt blood trickling down my back, but the pain is now numb. I feel You all shall be punished for your crimes committed against me. My judgment shall rain down upon you. I said. My mouth is moving by itself now. Why would I be saying these things? My arms moved up, creating extreme winds as I saw millions of light spears next to me. How am I doing this? The ground froze with their feet, and the light spears cut through all of their bodies. Asmodeus has a spear through his head, Beelzebub has 2 spears through his chest, as does Lucifer. Leviathan's beautiful body was completely torn up by the light spears. I then saw 4 orbs of pure white traveling towards me. Souls. I prepared for them and welcomed them into my body when I came in contact with them. The power. It is too much. I awoke in the chair I was sitting in before. I opened my eyes and saw the worried looks of everyone in the room. I lifted my hands up, and they moved faster than they did before. I stood up from my chair extremely fast. I flexed my arms and legs. Everything feels so new. So much stronger, so much faster. Is this a result of the souls of God and everyone else I've absorbed? Did you do it? Michael asked me. Yes, I did. I told Michael with a smile. Michael sighed a breath of relief, and everyone's face lit up with happiness. You're finally here. The Messiah. Michael said to me as everyone in the room went to a knee and bowed to me. Seriously, King of Purgatory, wielder of the boosted gear, and now Messiah? What is next? So, you're saying I'm God? I asked them. No, you are not God the Father, but you are now God of heaven. You are the one to bring balance back to this world. The one to finish the war. Michael said. Okay then, I think I understand the difference. What do you want your name to be, Issei? Michael asked me, standing back up. Everyone else followed suit. What do you mean? I asked him. What do you want your name as God to be? He asked back. What's wrong with Issei? Why can't I just stick with Issei? I said as Michael shook his head. A god with the name Issei. Think of a name, any name. He said as I closed my eyes. And then it hit me. I have the perfect name. Emmanuel. I said back to Michael, who smiled. Emmanuel. God is with us. Why that name? He asked me. I had a friend once. He was my childhood friend who went to church every Sunday as his family was extremely religious. I occasionally went with them, so I picked up the name Emmanuel from gospel songs that I sung. I see. Well, Emmanuel, we need to start your training tomorrow. Michael said as he approached me with a smile. Training for what? What? I asked Michael. Your training. You need to learn to control the power of the souls you have, as well as learn to use the boosted gear within your body. Michael said to me with a smile. What about school and my family? I asked as Michael's expression turned said. Emmanuel, how long do you think it has been since you awoke from the first time in purgatory? Michael asked me with a questioning expression. Less than an hour, why? I answered. Emmanuel. Michael said as he put his hand on my right shoulder. This isn't good. It has been a week since you've awakened. Michael said as I looked at him like he was insane. How is that possible? I shouted at him. We do not know. Time appears to go on much slower in purgatory than on earth. Bartholomew stated that it felt like he was in purgatory for 40 years, while it has only been 4 months on earth. Michael said to me. So, what are you saying? I asked him. You are missing Emmanuel. You have been missing for a week. Everyone in Japan is looking for you. Michael said. I need to get back and tell everyone I'm fine. I said, thinking of my parents. You can't do that. What are you going to say? I've been to heaven and purgatory and am now the King of Purgatory? The fallen angels who killed you will try again, and they might hurt your family. The devils have detected the power levels in Kuo and will easily find you. They will force you to their side, with any means necessary measures. Do you see why you need to stay here? Michael said to me. I hated what he was saying, but I understand his point. So, everyone knows I am missing. What does everything think? Am I dead? I asked, thinking that me talking about myself being dead is rather humorous. There has been no official story as to your disappearance. Michael said to me. We need to change that. I said to Michael as I thought about what to do. Is it possible to erase the memories of me from the ones I knew? I asked Michael. Of course, Messiah Emmanuel. As you wish. I sighed as Michael left to consult with other angels to start this process. I'm sorry everyone. I'm sorry Mom and Dad. Issei Hyoudou is no more. I am Emmanuel. Is it morning? I opened my eyes and tried to move out of my new white bed that is in my room. God's room was the one Michael gave me. I sat up in bed, staring at my new room. It happened so fast. Just a week ago, I was just Issei Hyoudou, average kid in high school. Now I am God. It still feels weird to call oneself God, but it is true in my instance. Apparently I am the new God of heaven, King of Purgatory, and wielder of the boosted gear. My room, the one that used to belong to the previous God of heaven, is a beautiful room. All the walls are painted in a bright white color. Gold trimmings decorate the room, and there is a massive diamond chandelier right in the middle of the room. I see two elegant French-style windows to my right side, allowing some light to come into my already bright room. There are two doors in my room. One is the entrance to the room, the second is the door to the bathroom. The bathroom was beautiful from what Michael showed me yesterday. The bathroom is completely extravagant with an ornate white bathtub on one side and a large shower with fiberglass doors. The toilet is made out of pure white gold, which I didn't even know existed. The sink is made out of marble, just like the handles of the faucet and the tiles on the floor. Everything here is just so beautiful. Knock knock. Came the sound from the door. Come in, I said as the door opened, revealing Michael and Gabriel. Good morning, Messiah Emmanuel. They both said in unison. It is still strange having people call me that. Good morning to you too, I said as I hopped out of bed in the pearl white pajamas that they gave me. Emmanuel, shall we get you breakfast? Michael asked me. Sure? Yes, that would be fine, I said as Michael snapped his fingers. How did he do that? Right in front of me is a complete traditional Japanese-style breakfast. It seems wonderful. Thank God for this, I jokingly muttered under my breath as I dug into the food. So delicious. Do you want? I asked Michael and Gabriel, who both shook their heads. No thanks, Emmanuel. We do not need food to sustain ourselves, Gabriel said as I put food down. Why would they ask me then? I don't need food either then. Emmanuel, while we don't need food to survive, we eat to blend into human society when we are on Earth. It also might be reassuring to you to have breakfast, Michael said. Is he reading my mind? I see. Okay then. What is the agenda for today? I asked them. Michael told me that as God, I have an agenda that I have to follow now. Yes, Emmanuel. Today you will meet the Council of Seraphs, the organization of all the seraphs in heaven. They know of what happened and they will see it now. Then, we will discuss your training schedule and then start training. Michael said to me. Okay then, sounds good, I said as I finished the last of my food. Okay, just give me a minute to change, I said as Michael and Gabriel left the room. I put on a white toga and sandals that they gave me and headed out the door. Okay, let's go. The walk to the council room was unremarkable. Since my room is right in the building where the council room is located, nothing will happen on the way there. The walk will only take 5 minutes. When I asked Michael why are we walking instead of him teleporting me there, he responded that he wanted me to see heaven's history. I assume he meant that he wanted me to look at the paintings on the walls. There are numerous paintings on stern-faced people and angels, as well as paintings of places on Earth. Raphael, Metatron, Gabriel, and Sariel were some of the angels who had paintings on the wall. Jerusalem and Rome were paintings on the wall. Both were next to a painting of a figure whose face was stretched off from the painting. Who is this? I asked Michael. Michael stopped, as did Gabriel, and they stared at the painting before having a sad expression on their faces. That was Lucifer's painting, Michael said sadly. I see. Michael imprinted in me yesterday information about the history of heaven and the church, so I can see why he would be upset at his brother's betrayal. I know so many things now. My mind was spinning when he transferred all of that information into my mind with the touch of his hand. We continued along and made into the council room shortly after. There are 8 giant pearl seats along a giant circular table. I see 5 angels already seating down at the table. All of the angels stood up when they saw us walking into the room. Emmanuel, may I introduce you to the Council of Seraphs, the guardians of heaven? Michael said as he gestured towards all the angels. Introduce yourselves to our new brother. Gabriel said as she took her seat at the table. Raphael, a tall male angel with black hair and brown eyes, said briefly. Uriel, a stocky brown hair, blue-eyed male, said. Sandalphon, a black, mushroom haircut angel with glasses, said. Raziel, a female angel with a short black hair bob cut. This angel has purple eyes that are staring at me when she said her name. Remiel, another female angel with flowing red hair and red eyes, said to me. There you have it, Emmanuel. Michael said as he took his seat at the table. Everyone is staring at me intently. Should I be sitting too? I sat at the one remaining seat, the biggest seat at that. First order of business. This is the King of Purgatory, wielder of the boosted gear, and the Messiah. Michael proclaimed in his seat, which is next to me. Everyone in the room clapped for me. Now, the Messiah has to train to properly fulfill his roles as the Messiah, and you will all help him in that capacity. Michael said as he looked around the room before looking back at me. Uriel, teach the Messiah about our angelic magic. But before you do that, train him in the basics of flight. Have to get the basics down first. Michael said to Uriel. Uriel nodded his head, and Michael then smiled. Sandalphon, teach him various forms of combat. Michael said to Sandalphon. He is asking the nerdy one to teach me how to defend myself? Sounds very reassuring. Remiel, teach him on the soul and its powers. Michael said to the woman, who in turn smiled at me. Dulio will teach you to use your boosted gear. Michael said as I looked around. Who's Dulio? I asked Michael, who looked shocked for a moment. Ah yes, you are unfamiliar with him. Dulio is one of the church's most powerful magic users, as he is the possessor of the Zenith Tempest, a Longinus that can control the weather. He is extremely proficient in the use of it, so I thought it would be beneficial for a Longinus user to teach another Longinus user. Michael said. Okay, sounds good. Alright, when do we start training? I asked. Now. Michael said. Alright, Emmanuel. As Brother Michael stated earlier, it is my task to teach you how to fly and create light spears before we move on to the advanced magic. Uriel said to me with a stern look on his face. Okay, let's get started. Teach me and I will try my best. First, open your wings from your back. Feel the wings in your body and push them out. Uriel said with a deep breath as 10 wings appeared from his back. Why do you have 10 wings? I asked him as he chuckled. You see, Emmanuel, the stronger an angel is, the more wings he will have. Most lower angels have been 2 to 8 wings. We seraphs have 10 wings, while Brother Michael has 12 wings as the leader of heaven. Uriel said as I nodded. Okay then, I'm ready for my wings. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. I feel them in my body. Push them out. I opened my eyes as I felt my muscles tense before relaxing. How did I do? I asked Uriel, who was staring at me in shock. What is it? I turned around and I was stunned. 16 pearl white wings, all appearing from my back. I take it I broke a record around here? I asked. You will be trained on the various arts of combat here. Armed and unarmed, light spear or no light spear. You understand me, Emmanuel? He shouted at me. No need to shout. I understand. I shouted back at him since we are both shouting. Okay, first thing is first. An angel's primary weapon is their light spear. All angels know how to use light spears. To create a light spear, simply hold your hand out like this. Sandalphon said to me as he held out his right hand. I followed his lead and held out my hand exactly like he did. Now, release a bit of your power, and it will manifest itself into the shape of a spear. Just imagine now. He said to me as he created a spear in his hand. I let power flow from my body to my hand, and I feel a sensation forming. A mass of light slowly materializes into a light spear. Wow, did I do this? Good, make 10 more. He said as I dropped the one in my right hand. I held up both hands and let the power flow from my body to the hands. 2 spears were created. I dropped them and created more and more, creating more than 10 before Sandalphon stopped me. Alright, you have handheld light spears down. Let's see you make light arrows. Just let your power flow from your body to the surroundings. Sandalphon said. How many should I make? I asked Sandalphon. Make as many as you can. He said with a smile as I nodded. I let my power flow into the environment. I see hundreds of light spears appearing on all sides of me. It is working. Good. Let's see how your coordination is. To aim a light spear, simply focus on the direction you want it to go. For light spears, just throw them where you want to go. For arrows, you need to aim them though. Let's see if you can shoot an arrow straight into this target. Sandalphon said as he created a shooting dummy to the right of him. I fired an arrow at it and it worked. Again, he said. And I shot another one at it and it hit. And a third time, he said, and so I did it again. Let's see if you can hit a moving target now. Sandalphon said as the target started to zigzag all around. I concentrated and shot all the light arrows at the moving target, following the target with my eyes. The light arrows hit the target head-on and destroyed it. You are a very fast learner. I am impressed. Emmanuel, here you will learn about the soul. Ramil said as she hit the blackboard with a ruler. As opposed to the training before, we are in a classroom as opposed to an open field. I have a notebook and sharpened pencil that was provided to me to take notes. They used magic to make the classroom appear like the ones I went to at Kuo Academy. That will not be necessary. God? I heard God's voice just now. I started at Ramil, who is in the middle of a sentence. Did you hear that? I asked Ramil, who stopped what she was going and looked at me. Hear what? She asked. My daughter cannot hear me. If you want her to hear me, calm your mind. God is telling me from inside my mind? Alright, here goes nothing. I closed my eyes and calmed my mind, thinking of nothing except light. Daughter, it is I. I heard God say again. This time, Ramil looks at me stunned. Father, is that truly you? Ramil shouted at me as she slammed her hands on my desk. Whoa, how did you get here so fast? Yes, it is I, daughter. I have the ability to communicate out loud if Issei chooses to do so. God said out loud. Now, please leave us, daughter. Issei and I have much to discuss. I will teach him about the soul and its powers. God said out loud, as Ramil had tears of joy in her eyes. Ramil quickly left the room, and so it was just me and God. Issei, you have much to learn. God told me. Okay, where should we get started then? I asked God. The soul. The soul was my first creation. I put it in everything from angels to dogs. All of creation has one. God said. I see. So what exact does it do for me as the King of Purgatory? I asked God. The soul contains the essence of a being. If you absorb their soul, you absorb their knowledge and their power. God told me. Amazing, simply amazing. So, the more souls you absorb, the more powerful you become? I asked God. Yes. When I was in Purgatory, Lucifer and I waged war over souls. The one with the most souls becomes the most intelligent, and also the most powerful. However, you must remember that even though you absorbed our souls, you have our abilities and thoughts, you don't have the proficiency to use them. God told me. I see. So is absorbing your soul and Lucifer's, among the others, why I feel a sharp increase in strength and speed. I asked God. Yes. However, when you absorbed my soul, Lucifer's and the others, you not only absorbed our souls, but the souls contained within us. The souls that we captured. While we were in Purgatory. God told me. How many souls are there in Purgatory and how many do you have between your two groups? I asked. There are 100 billion of souls in Purgatory. Out of all the factions, we have the most with about 90 billion. The person with the third most is the fallen angel Turiel. God told me. Is there any other use for the soul beside the increase in knowledge and power? I asked God. Yes. There are two more important uses for the soul. The soul can provide you with a dramatic but temporary increase in power. Also, the soul can be focused and converted into pure energy that can be used as a weapon. Both of these, however, come with permanent destruction of the soul and its knowledge. Amazing, the soul can do that much? Incredible. I said, in awe of what power the soul has. Issei, you are a young one, but in time will grow with strength. You will accept what I have to teach you. God asked me. Of course I will. So yeah, try to bring out your sacred gear or something. The lazy man, Dulio, I think his name was, told me as he was stuffing his face with stinky tofu. He said he got that from Taiwan. How did he get that so quickly? It was only a moment that we've been training and now he is eating? So, after my long talk with God, I am training with Dulio, wielder of the Zenith Tempest. Okay, how do I bring out my sacred gear? I asked Dulio, who is eating some more tofu. Is that really that good? Try to think of the strongest image you can think of. Just imagine that. Dulio said in between bits of food. Okay, I closed my eyes and thought of it. Sacred gear. I shouted out as I felt something materialize on my left arm. I opened my eyes and looked down, seeing a red gauntlet on the arm. Amazing, you've unlocked the boosted gear. God told me. Thanks for telling me the obvious. So, you've awakened me. I heard a male voice say from the gauntlet. And you are? It doesn't appear Dulio heard it. Where did Dulio go? Dragon Drake. So it is you again. God said in my head. I don't think he can hear you. God, what are you doing here? Drake asked back. Oh, never mind. It is a bit complicated. You are Drake, right? My name is Emmanuel, the King of Purgatory and the Messiah. I am also the wielder of boosted gear, which you are in. I told Drake in my head. I see. You are now the troublesome host of heaven. Well, God, I suppose we will be hearing a lot of each other in the future. Drake said. There was no rebuttal from God, so I assume God was thinking of something witty to say back. I hate dragons so much. God said in my head. Clap, clap, clap. I turned around and saw Michael with a very happy look on his face. You've talked to Father. May I speak with him? Michael asked as he got closer. Do you want to be heard, God? I asked God. Just let me talk with my son. God said in my head. I calmed my mind and let God be heard. Michael, it is good to see you, my son. God said as Michael formed tears in his eyes. Father, Michael said before God cut him off. Wow, God is quite rudely. But then again, he is God. Michael, you have done well, my son. I shall talk to you later. Until then, my son. God stopped talking after that. So you came for Dulio, Michael? I asked Michael, who wiped tears from his eyes. No, Emmanuel. I am here for you. There is something you must learn directly from me. Michael said as I nodded. What is it? I asked him. Come, I'll show you. Michael said, offering up his hand. I grabbed his hand, and we teleported to the opening of a church in the middle of the night. Where are we? I asked Michael. Japan. Near your hometown. I became surprised when Michael said that. Why exactly are we here? I asked Michael. You need to learn the most feared power that we angels possess. The 4 great seraphs and Father possessed it. The power to completely destroy beings with just a touch, and in Father's case, a glance. This power is calling smiting. Michael said. Completely destroy something with a touch. I need to learn that. So what does that have to do with this church? I asked Michael. The fallen angel who attacked you was part of a group we've been tracking. Remnants of the group were traced back over here. We felt that you needed to get closure for your death, and the best way to do that is to kill those responsible. Michael said. You read my mind. Don't worry. The entire area is protected by an Enochian barrier, so no other beings can come in or get out, whether they be angels, devils, fallen angels, or some other being. There will be no interference in this cleansing. Michael said as I smiled. All right, let's get started then. I said as I approached the church's door. Emmanuel, I will be right behind you. I will teach you of how to smite. Michael said as he pushed open the door, which went flying as a result. There were at least a dozen people dressed in priest attire, however I was most interested in the 3 fallen angel auras I feel. Michael told me how to feel them, and as a result, I can now feel 3 weak auras resonating from them. Who's there? A gruff male voice said. I am. Michael said, going in front of me by walking into the church. Lord, am I Michael? Many voices in the church shouted, "I am the Archangel of Heaven, the one who holds my Father's commandments. You are the ones who fled from his holy love due to your lust and greed. You shall be judged by our new Messiah." Michael said, "Okay, guess it's my turn." I stepped forward and unleashed my power to the surroundings. Hundreds of light spears were created by me, and I launched them at everyone I could see. All of the priests were killed, but the 3 fallen angels weren't killed. No, the light spears that I aimed for them were deflected away from their bodies when they were close. How did that happen? The fallen angels are now bound by chains, and are on their knees now. There is an attractive woman with black hair, a man wearing a trench coat, and a young girl wearing a gothic Lolita outfit. "I did that, Emmanuel. Let me show you how to smite," Michael said as he went forward. "Shouldn't we make sure that there is no one else here? There are 2 other people. One of them was bound before we got here, and the second one has been bound by my magic. They are both in the basement, which is underneath the podium." I asked Michael as I followed behind him, "Lord Michael, please have mercy on us." The 3 shouted as we approached them. I could see the fear in their eyes as Michael we made our way to the altar. "Your heart will judge whether you are fit for salvation," Michael said as he tilted up the head of the black-haired woman. "Sister Calawarner, your sins have deemed you worthy for the judgment of death," Michael said as the woman started hysterically crying. Michael moved his hand so that his hand was covering the entire face. "Watch carefully, Emmanuel," Michael said as black wings from the woman suddenly appeared from her back. The face started to glow as the woman screamed. Bright fire then appeared from the eyes and mouth before ending as the woman's face and body turned into ash. "Emmanuel, you have to focus your holy energy on the sinner. When the holy energy meets the sinner's internal energy, the 2 cancel each other out violently, killing the sinner. Now you try. Pick one," Michael said as I looked at the 2 quivering fallen angels. I picked the gothic Lolita girl as Michael picked the man. "Her name is Middlet," Michael said as he chanted before smiting the fallen angel. The moment I touched her, I felt it. Her darkness, the aura within her. All the crimes and atrocities she committed, I feel them flashing inside of my mind. She is going to die. "No, Lord Emmanuel. Don't kill me. I repent for my sins," Middlet said. But I feel no repentance within her. "Mit, your sins deem you worthy for the judgment of death," I said as I did what Michael said too and focused my holy energy into her. Her wings forcefully came out, and then turned white as did her face as I channeled holy energy into her. She screamed as the white became brighter. I tried to look away but I just could not, and so I stared as her body disintegrated into nothingness. Wow, that felt amazing. What are those orbs that are following among the ashes? They're souls. "Michael, do you want them or should I take them?" I asked Michael. "Take them, Messiah Emmanuel," Michael said as I nodded, absorbing the souls into my body. That feels good. Shouldn't we go check on the 2 in basement?" I asked Michael. "If you want to, Emmanuel." He told me. "Alright, what's the worst that could happen?" I walked over to the podium and moved it out of the way, seeing a narrow staircase to the basement underneath it. I walked the stairs, the torches illuminating the way even though I could see in the dark naturally as I'm an angel. We walked to the basement, where there is a beautiful girl chained on a crucifix and a priest tied up with ropes. The room was brightly lit with torches, so I could see everything clearly. "Oh, who do we have here? 2 shitty angels? You are lucky that I am in binds as I'll kill you and chop you up," the priest said as he struggled against his binds. "Shut up," I said as I launched 3 light spears at him, killing him. There was something about him that utterly irks me. I couldn't put my finger on it, but he had to die nonetheless. "What about her?" I asked Michael, referring to the girl on the crucifix. "She is fallen holy maiden Asia Argento. It's a rather unfortunate story as she was a healing maiden that had to be thrown out of the church for healing a devil." "Why did she need to be thrown out?" I asked, although I had a general idea as to why. I couldn't maintain the system Father set up as well as he did, and there were some faults. One of them being a sacred gear that could heal devils, which Miss Argento had. If she wasn't kicked out of the church, people would have questioned if Father was still alive, as it was impossible to heal a devil otherwise. Michael said as I became speechless. Kicking someone out because of your faulty system? Disgusting. That's why you kicked out a holy maiden from the church? To save your precious system? I said, teeming with rage. Now, Emmanuel, you must. Michael said before I cut him off. No, you must do something. Bring her back into the church. I said as Michael's face looked shocked. I can't do. He said, that's an order. Yes, Messiah. 6 months. 6 long months since I've been up here. Training every day, getting repeatedly tested on everything about heaven and religion, even though Michael implanted all the necessary information into mind. Every day, intensive training with all the best teachers in heaven. The training, very hard. They need to heal me after each session just so I can go on. But there is a reward. I've been getting stronger and more proficient everywhere. I can match anyone in heaven, hell, or anywhere else for that matter with regards to strength, speed, and combat abilities. I've been able to perfectly blend the abilities over the soul, my boosted gear, and other angelic powers into a formidable fighting style. It's rather remarkable the progress I've shown, and that was Michael's very own words. The area I've excelled in the most is the ability to smite. Every week, I've went down to earth to smite monsters that were threatening churchgoers. My people. My worshippers. And these monsters weren't weaklings. These monsters were powerful werewolves, vampires, trolls, ogres, and I completely obliterated them. It felt good to save my followers, and it felt even better to absorb the souls of the monsters. My smiting ability is off the charts. With a little bit more practice, I can smite with a glance. So much power is intoxicating to me. Why are you just standing around? God asked. I'm not entirely sure myself. Why, you have a hot date you need to go on. I joked back to God, who grunted. He got you there. Draig chimed in. Of course I did. Who was talking to you, Draig? God growled out. Somebody mad? I involved myself into this conversation. Yes, Draig, we know you did. It gets quite lively inside of me. Draig and God have taunting conversations with each other, but they are all in good spirits. I think they warmed up to each other. At first, they were at each other's throats, but eventually they started to joke around, and I could even say that they became friends. A rather ironic twist considering God is one of the reasons Draig is the way he is. Knock knock. Come in. I said, not bothering to turn around from my window as I already know who it is. Lord Messiah Emmanuel, Lord Michael asks to speak with you. Issei Argento. My first angel. All the crap heaven did to her. Banishment, branded a heretic and on the run. All for what? Healing someone that shouldn't have been able to be healed due to Michael's faulty system? I needed to repay her. She is a pure soul. When I touched her, I could feel no sin residing within her. Purity, a feat unmatched in this day, and God told me there was a way to make her into an angel. And so I did. One touch, and she had 2 pure white wings on her back. We gave her a home in heaven, and I gave her the task of being my personal assistant. I suppose it is the least we could do for her after all she has been through. I wish she would stop calling me Lord Messiah Emmanuel. It's either Lord Emmanuel, Messiah, Messiah Emmanuel, or Emmanuel, not all 3 at once. Still, she has been nothing short of phenomenal as an assistant. Being King of Purgatory and the Messiah can really take a lot of you. All right, let's go. Asia and I walked the halls on our way to the council room. Asia gave me no information as to why I'm going to the council room, just that Michael asked to see me there. If my guess is correct, there is going to be a meeting of the Council of Seraphs. That is the only explanation in my mind. If Michael wanted to talk to me, he would have done so in my room. Lord Messiah Emmanuel, we are here, she said, as I looked around. She is right. Wow, I got lost in my thoughts again. I should really talk to her about what she calls me, but I can save that for another time. Everyone is already at their seats at the council table. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, Remiel, Uriel, Sandalphon, and Raziel are staring at me intently as I walked into the room. Thank you, Asia. You may leave, I said as I heard Asia's footsteps move away from this room. I walked towards my seat and took my seat at the head of the table. What is the purpose of this meeting, Michael? I asked Michael, who is seated next to me. It looks like we have a crisis, Messiah. Michael said as I nodded. Care to elaborate? I asked him. You are familiar with the Excalibur? Michael asked. The name rings a bell. Michael had me look over many manuscripts in addition to the knowledge he imprinted into my brain, and the name came up over and over. It's one of the 4 holy swords forged by God, and it was wielded by King Arthur. After he died, the sword was shattered into 7 fragments and dispersed among the various churches. Is that correct? I said. Yes, that is correct. The crisis is the fallen angel. Kokabeel has stolen numerous fragments of Excalibur from several churches. Michael said. The warmonger Kokabeel? His name came up repeatedly in the Enochian manuscripts Michael gave to me. He apparently was one of the architects of the fall from heaven, and has a taste for battle. That is true, Issei. God said to me, so that no one else could hear God's voice. So a battle-hungry fallen angel has a fragments of a sword. What's the worst that could happen? What can he do with just fragments? I asked everyone. We are not entirely sure. It is written in a few obscure Enochian texts that fragments could be welded into one sword, but we are not sure if Kokabeel knows of this. We suspect that he might distribute the fragments among his followers for some other plot that we do not know about. Michael said as I contemplated what he told me. What do you think of this? I asked God. My son Kokabeel is a warmonger who would not be happy with anything short of another great war. Be wary of him. Thanks God. All right, do we know of where Kokabeel might be hiding? I asked the group. Yes, we have tracked him down to Japan. Kuo specifically. Gabriel said. Why would he go to my hometown? We have reason to believe the lives of devils are at risk, especially with Kokabeel being there. Michael said. And this concerns me how? Devils are our mortal enemies. There may be important devils living there. If they are killed, there will be retaliation for their deaths, which would inevitably lead to another war. God told me. I see, makes sense. All right then, the reason you called me here is because you want me to deal with him because I know the area? I asked the group. Everyone raised their eyebrows, and then Gabriel spoke up. That's actually not the reason, Messiah. You are being assigned to this to get you combat experience. Adding on to what Gabriel said, everyone here has had combat experience, except you. We feel that you should have real-world experience. The smiting we've been doing is nothing compared to the chaos of battle. Michael chimed in. So you want me to do battle? All right then. Okay, so you want me to have battle experience so I can lead heaven's armies? All right, sounds fine. I said with a sigh. You aren't scared? Gabriel asked. I am, but I know God is with me. I said with a smile. Of course I'm with you. Thanks God, that's reassuring. So, who is coming with me? I asked. Gabriel, go along with the Messiah. There are already 2 of our forces in Japan. They are waiting for you, and will be directly under your command, Emmanuel. Michael said as I glanced over at Gabriel, who smiled in return. Great, when shall we leave? I asked Michael, standing up. Tomorrow. Gabriel and I descended to Earth around noon, Japan time. We landed on the outskirts of Kuo to allow us time to hide our auras from any possible devils or fallen angels that might be hostile to our presence here. I personally didn't understand why we needed to, as I could smite anything that tried to harm us. Gabriel mentioned about keeping our profile down, so that is why we landed outside of Kuo. It feels so good to be back here. During the last 6 months, I've been all around the world, but not Kuo, so this is a homecoming for me. Gabriel is walking right behind me as we entered town. We are wearing quite normal attire as we are walking to the address that Michael gave us. I'm wearing a clean version of the Kuo Academy uniform, while Gabriel is wearing a flowing white dress with sandals. Everyone is staring at us, or more specifically Gabriel, as we made our way through the city streets to the address where 2 of our forces are at. The address is an apartment complex close to my house, and the room where our people are is on the 2nd floor. Before we knew it, we arrived at the door of the apartment. I knocked on the door. A young woman with blue hair wearing a white cloak opened the door. Lady Gabriel. Lord Emmanuel. The woman spouted out as she quickly bowed. I raised my hand as another woman came into view. This is a woman with light brown hair in ponytails. Huh, her face looks vaguely familiar. Where have I seen it before? Gabriel and I walked into the apartment, shutting the door behind us as we went in. Nice place, a bit small, but it will do. Hello there. What did you two find? Gabriel asked as the brown-haired girl looked at me intently. Have I seen you somewhere? She asked me as she rubbed her forehead. I don't believe so. What is your name? I asked her. Issei Hyoudou. Hyoudou. I know that name. There was someone I knew during my childhood with that name, but I'm pretty sure it was a boy. Unless it wasn't and that person was a girl. Messiah, she probably can't remember you due to the memory-wiping spell Brother Michael used. Gabriel whispered in my ear as Issei stared at me. Sorry, I don't believe we've met. I lied to her. An angel lying, funny. I'd normally fall out of heaven for lying, but I can't since I'm the Messiah. She nodded as she held her head in pain for some reason. Is she okay? Whenever someone tries to remember you, their head starts to hurt as a reason of the spell. Gabriel added in my ear. Well, now that that is settled, let's get down to business. So, what did you two find? Gabriel said, reiterating my point. We've found the base that we believe that Kokobile is operating out of. The blue-haired woman said. Very good, miss. I said as the woman looked at me blankly. She doesn't understand me, I assume. What is your name? I asked her directly. Zenobia. She said blankly. No last name? No last name? I asked. I do not have a last name. She said. All right then, let's leave it at that. So you haven't confirmed Kokobile's presence? Gabriel asked. No, but we have confirmed the presence of Valpur Galilei. Issei said as I saw Gabriel's face twist with rage. Valpur Galilei. I was told he was the head of the Holy Sword Project, which was deemed a failure and inhumane. Valpur was banished as a result of the project and joined the fallen angels. This cannot be a coincidence that he is here. He must be working with Kokobile. Gabriel stated. Have the devils or the fallen angels in town detected your presence? I asked. No, they haven't. Issei said with a smile. A thought then crossed my mind. Will our presence here be seen as an act of aggression? I asked Gabriel. Maybe. The two devil heiresses here might perceive that, but they also may not. Gabriel told me. Should we inform them of our presence? It may prevent any misunderstandings, and can prevent any devils from being caught in the crossfire when we battle with Kokobile. I said, not really caring if any devils are caught in the crossfire. It is just better for us to tell them as a warning sign, and if they do die, we did warn them and their deaths are not our fault. Good idea. You are really thinking like a leader would. Gabriel said with a smile to me. Are you seriously considering telling the devils of our intentions? What if they are allied with Kokobile's group? Zenobia asked us. Good point, but highly unlikely. Kokobile doesn't seem like the type that would ally with devils. We will tell them to prevent any hostilities with us when they inevitably find out we are in their territory. I said. But? Zenobia started to say. That's the end. I said as staring at her. Where are these two devil heiresses? I asked Gabriel. You know of them. They were your seniors at Kuo Academy. Really? That is interesting. Who are they? I asked Gabriel. Rias Gremory and Sona Shirtorai, whose real name is Sona Citri. These are the two devil heiresses of this territory. I checked down at my wristwatch. 1:13 p.m. Let's go to school and confront them. All right, let's go. Zenobia and Irina, come with me. I walked down the street with Zenobia and Irina following closely behind me. They are still in their cloaks that have their battle weapons underneath. I tried to convince them to leave their weapons behind, as being armed might be seen as threatening. They refused and I respected their decision. We stopped at a crosswalk, and I looked at Zenovia's face, which looked troubled. Zenobia, is something the matter? I asked her as she looked at my face. Lord Emmanuel, Is this your first time in Japan? She asked me. No. I lived here before I became an angel. I said as her eyes widened considerably. How did you become an angel? She screamed at me. I was taken a bit off guard but then thought of my answer. Michael gave me a second chance at life. I said as the crosswalk light indicated that we could cross. We are at the walls of the academy and are walking towards the entrance. Can you feel that? I asked God within me. Devils. Drake said. Where's God? I asked. Sleeping. All right then. Just needed to confirm my feelings. We arrived at the corner, and I see about 10 students standing there, waiting for us. Rias Gremory and the entire Occult Research Club. Sona Citri and the entire student council. A male in the student council stepped forward with his finger pointed at me. Who is that? I've seen him before but I don't know his name. Saji. Genshuru Saji. He is in the same grade as me. He is a devil? Issei Hyoudou. Impossible. They remember? You devils remember who I was? Issei Hyoudou is dead. I am Emmanuel. Issei? Who's Issei? My name is not Issei. It is Emmanuel. These devils are trying to trick me. Trying to mess with my memories for their evil purposes. Michael warned me about them. Told me all about their evil nature. That me is long gone. My name is Emmanuel. I said at Saji. Let's look at the devils standing in my way. Pretty boy Kiba Yudo. Silent mascot Kaneko Tuju, the two great ladies of Kuro, Akino Himejima and Rias Gremory. There is also the entire student council from what I can see. Sona Citri, Tsubaki Shinra, and the rest of the student council, whose names I do not know of. Where have you been and what have they done to you? We all thought you were dead. Sona said, stepping out in front. You devils care? About what happened to me? But you're lying. Citri, you care about what happens to someone like me? That's funny, I thought you only cared when I was getting lectured by you. I retorted back at the stunned devil. To answer your question, I've been given, shall we say, a new lease on life. Heaven saved me from death and they gave me power. Lots of it. I said as the devils looked nervously at me. I can sense your fear, devils. Do not worry, I am not here on a mission to kill you, even though I certainly could do it, should I desire. What do you want? Rias Gremory asked in a trembling manner. It is rather unfitting for one of the 72 pillars to act so frightened. Nonetheless, continue with your fear. It's rather simple, devils. We are on a mission here. We would like you to stay out of the way, lest the mission spiral out of control. We don't want any innocents to perish in the ensuing chaos. I said as Sona and Rias looked at each other. It's our territory and we will. Rias started before I cut her off. Yes, it is your territory. But the entire world is God's, and we will travel around, doing God's will. Of course you're doing my work. Yep, I know, God. I said as I took out a vial from my right pocket. You know what this is, right? I said, showing them the vial of holy water I had in my pocket. They grimaced as I held it up in front of my body. Holy water. Critically damaging to devils. Don't worry, we won't use it unless you get in our way. Now, heed my warning, or face the consequences. I said, turning away from the devils that infest the place I once called school. Okay, this is the plan. We get Gabriel from the apartment, and then we will go to the base that we believe Kokabeel is operating in. I said to the two swordswomen in front of me. Yes, Lord Emmanuel. So, does everyone remember the plan? I asked as we walked to Kokabeel's base on foot. We are in a rather empty part of town, the industrial part. Here, it's mostly just warehouses or vacant buildings. This is great for us as the possibility of human causalities are slim, compared to if his base was in a densely populated part of town. Yes, Emmanuel. The rest of you search the base for Kokabeel, while I maintain a barrier around the around. Gabriel said. Good, she remembers. Do either of you have any questions? I asked Zenobia and Irina. No, Lord Emmanuel. They shouted in unison. Good, everything is going according to plan. We continued walking for a few more minutes, just to make sure the area was clear. The area was mostly clear, except for a few stragglers. Gabriel casted a spell that inserted memories into the few remaining humans in the area. The memories were fake memories of them needed to be at other places now, so the humans left the area. About a dozen dazed humans walked right past us without looking at us. Gabriel then casted a barrier upon the area. Maintain this barrier at all costs. I said to Gabriel, who nodded. I then stared at Zenobia and Irina, who are in their black battle suits. Ready? I asked them before we are going to walk into battle. Of course. Zenobia said. I know God is watching. He will protect me. Irina said. You don't know the half of it. God indeed is watching. Let's go. I said, walking into the industrial area. We walked past empty buildings upon empty building. Good, the spell worked extremely well. Well, we came upon the hideout we believed to be Kokobiel's. It was the last warehouse in the row that we see, and the largest one. I can feel numerous energy signatures within the building. All but one are human. The one non-human one is very powerful. His or her aura rivals that of Gabriel and other seraphs, with the exception of Michael. Stay back. Engage anyone you see, except Kokobiel. I will deal with him myself. I said to Irina and Zenobia, who nodded. They moved back and readied their swords as I looked at the massive door of the warehouse where he is in. God, do you have any special requests for Kokobiel? I asked God silently. Make my son feel fear. He was always boastful when he had the upper hand, but when he is losing, he becomes angry and then a coward. God said, all right, I have the perfect idea. A dominant display of power should do it. Drake, activate scale mail armor. I said to Drake, Dragon Booster. The boosted gear materialized on my arm. Welsh Dragon Balance Breaker. Scale mail materialized on my body. With this, I am ready to do battle. I open my angel wings, only 2 of them though, as that is all I need for flight. I took flight and stared down at the warehouse. I materialized 2 massive light spears that sent them down at the warehouse. The warehouse was destroyed, and I feel the strong aura take flight in the smoking wreckage of the warehouse. As the smoke cleared, I see a 10-winged black-winged angel smirking at me. Fallen angel, Kokobiel. That's him, God? I asked. Yeah, that's him. All right, I'll do what you ask, God. I said as I stared directly at Kokobiel, wielder of the boosted gear. You are the only one they sent after me? Kokobiel said in a haughty voice. No, look above. You know whose barrier is that? I asked him. Its aura is familiar. Gabriel's, perhaps? He said. Very good. She came with me as did those 2. I said, pointing down at Zenobia and Irina, who are battling fallen priests right now. But the reason I'm fighting you is because Michael wants me to gain battle experience. I said to Kokobiel, who sported a grin on his face. You honestly think fighting me is a good idea? Just to gain experience? Is Michael going insane? Kokobiel said as he started to laugh. An idea then popped into my head. I laughed too at first. It would do me nothing to face someone like you with the power I possess. I said as Kokobiel's grin turned into a sadistic smile. Are you mocking me? That is the last thing you will do. Kokobiel said as all 10 of his wings angled towards me. Hundreds of piercing black feathers were shot at me. I dodged them and launched hundreds of light spears at Kokobiel. Kokobiel blocked the light spears with his wings, which acted as a shield. Issei, let me talk to Kokobiel. God asked of me. Sure, I'll let you talk to him. Kokobiel, you have someone on line 1. I said as I made God's voice present. My son, Kokobiel. What a monster you've become. God said as Kokobiel's red eyes widened considerably. God, you're supposed to be dead. Kokobiel shouted at me as God chuckled. Indeed I am, son. I am communicating through this boy. I just wanted to say, judgment will rain down upon you. Finish him. Kokobiel created hundreds of car-sized light spears, which he fired at me. I created a massive shield that intercepted all of the light spears, destroying them in their path. God, mind if I use souls to boost my power? I asked God, even though I really didn't need to. Sure, go ahead. I calmly breathed and felt all the souls within me. I think I'll need 90 million, just to see how it feels. The most I've used before was 1 million, and that was a few months ago, so I should be able to use that many. Kokabeel, your judgment will be complete now, I said as became ready to use the souls. Soul release. God shouted as I felt the souls giving me tremendous speed and power. I feel so much stronger. Much faster. Such power. Need more. Drag. Boost me up. Boost, 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 boost. So. Power. Purgatory Welsh Dragon over. Booster. Power. I stared at Kokabeel, who is staring at me in shock. Master of Souls, you're the King of Purgatory? He said. Yes, I am. I rushed at him at speeds I never knew were possible. I reached him before he registered what happened, and punched him in the stomach with my armored right hand. Kokabeel went flying, breaking the sound barrier as he made a crater in the ground where he landed. I followed him down to the ground, and reached him as he tried to get back to his feet. Judgment time. Smite. I shouted as I put my right hand on his hand, gripping him by the face. I felt all the negative energy residing within him, all the hate and vengeance within. All the memories of his crimes rushed into my body. All the people he's killed. He's going to die now. I unleashed my power into his body, causing his entire body to burn up in holy fire. His body disintegrated into ashes as I absorbed his soul. All this power. It is too much. I feel dizzy. I feel myself lying on a wet, somewhat soft surface. I open my eyes and see the faint purple sky. So I'm back in purgatory? I got back to my feet and looked around. It looks exactly like where I first came in. God? I'd like my body back. I shouted at the sky. God, you there? I asked him. Damn it. I know you can hear me. Issei. God's voice resounded out loud. God, let me out of here and back into my body. I said. I'm afraid that cannot be done. Why not? You've done your task, and for that I thank you. I'm sorry, this was the only way. God, what are you talking about? I shouted at the sky. No answer from him. God, what are you doing? I shouted again at the sky. A high-pitched scream then hit my eyes. I collapsed to the ground, covering my ears from the screech, which subsided. I then heard static, and images flashed in my mind. What is going on? I see them. Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, Uriel, and me. Why are we dressed in armor? My body is talking. What am I saying? Gates of the... I heard Michael say between the static noise. The armies. Gabriel said. Causality, the projections. Raphael said. Retaliation, warfare. Uriel said. Apo, is it? Or should I say God said? That high-pitched screaming noise. I covered my ears and ran as fast as I could. Cain. Somebody help me. I said, running at Cain's place in the mountains. That high-pitched screech is getting louder. I got to my knees as the noise overpowered me. I covered my ears and looked up. Angels. 2 of them. Emotionless white-winged angels with helmets on their heads. I see both of them ping their hands back to throw the spears. They threw the spears at me. Is this the end for me? I'm not dead? I opened my eyes and saw him. Cain. He blocked the light spears with a silver shield. Issei, stay back. He said as he held out his right palm at the angels. Omnipotentus de potestatum invoco, omnipotentus de potestatum invoco, abaro tut, angelum omnium obsequendum, domini expuit, deum ad imperimus veritas. Ego principio tibi ut redient. Cain chanted in Latin as the angels disappeared in a violent flash of white light. I know that spell. Michael told me about it during my studies, and told me that it could be used to ward off fallen angels, and apparently regular angels too. They'll be back, and in greater numbers, looking for you. We need to leave. Cain said as he dropped the shield and started sprinting into the forest, towards the direction of his house. Damn it. Wait for me. I ran after him, and caught up with him as he made it to his cave. Help me move this boulder in front of the opening. Cain said as we pushed the boulder in front of the opening as we went into the cave. Cain walked into the cave, sitting down in the darkness which I could see perfectly in. He took a pair of sticks and started to rub them together, trying to start a fire. Let me try something to see if I still have my powers. I held out my left palm and tried to make a fireball. It worked. And now the cave is illuminated. Well, nice to meet you again, Issei. Cain said as he saw the fireball. I need help. God has taken over my body, and I think he is going to start a war among the 3 factions. You finally realized that he wants the apocalypse? Took you long enough. Cain said with a chuckle. Hey, this is serious. You honestly don't know? God never wanted to help you. He was conspiring against you from the very beginning. He didn't want you to become stronger, he just needed your body to become stronger so he could take it over when the time was right. Cain said, shaking his head at me. God betrayed me? Wait, what? All this time? I asked Cain. Damn it, God. I trusted you. You foolish, arrogant boy. Do you think God, the creator of the entire universe, really wants you to run his kingdom when he himself could be running it? Cain said to me, Ding, his words are like daggers cutting into my soul. Then why did I do all those awful things? Was it Lucifer's influence on my mind that caused me to murder all of those people? I shouted at Cain, who simply looked at me with cold, soulless eyes. Lucifer? No, Lucifer has nothing to do with that. It was all God. Killing transforms you, see, into a monster. You changed from Issei to the thing he wanted you to be, Emmanuel. Cain finished. If I was what he wanted me to be, why did he take over my body? I asked Cain, who looks puzzled. That I'm not sure about. Maybe he saw an opportunity to seize control of your body. You are the perfect storm for him. The wielder of the boosted gear Longinus, a 1 in 6 billion slide of luck in you. Maybe he didn't want to start all over from another body. Besides, your power levels are amazing. How many souls did you use? Cain asked. 90 million souls. I said as Cain put his hand on his face. A facepalm? That makes sense now. Your body, no matter how reinforced by Michael or anyone else, isn't capable of withstanding that much power. God's vessel is deteriorating. Vincent. Alright, what does that mean? What does all that mean? I asked Cain. Your body is breaking down due to the immense power of the souls. I know this, God knows this as well. He must want to restart the apocalypse before your body turns into ash. Cain said as I nodded. So, the way I'm going to die? Wait, what do you mean restart the apocalypse? I asked Cain. This isn't the first apocalypse he's overseen. Noah's Ark and the Great Flood was the first apocalypse. Thousands died in that one. It appears he is going to do it again to the devils and fallen angels, and there will be many human causalities as collateral damage. Cain said flatly. How many human causalities? I asked. Your guess is as good as mine. I'm guessing somewhere in the range of 3 to 5 billion. That's over 50% of the Earth's population. We need to stop him before he starts it. I'm going to make up for my sins that I've committed as Emmanuel, one way or another. Yes, we do. I have an idea. He said. Well, let's hear it. Turiel, the fallen angel and the wielder with the 3rd most amount of souls of purgatory before everything happened. We should try to contact him. He said after thinking for a while. Why, what will he bring to the fight? I asked, thinking back on everything I've read on Turiel. He was an intelligent angel before his fall from heaven. He fell because he wanted knowledge, and so he looked at forbidden manuscripts for esoteric knowledge, and was kicked out of heaven for discovering secrets that Michael wanted to keep secret. From what I understand, he might know of a way to weaken God from inside of here by taking the souls away from him. He said, interesting, severing the blood from the heart, destroying his ability to function. Interesting. If we take enough souls away from God, God will weaken to a point that he cannot control himself within my body. I said as Cain nodded. All right, where is Turiel? I asked Cain. He must be in the Palace of Stars. It is the fortress he created in his territory. It is a massive monstrosity of a residence, if you ask me. Vincent. Alright, housing advice coming from the guy who lives inside of a cave. Alright, let's go. I said as Kane looked at me with a weird face. I'm not going. Wait, what? Why? I asked him. You honestly got yourself into this mess, and you should be the one to get out yourself of it. Also, the route from here to the Palace of Stars is very dangerous. There are many dragons, QB, and vampires in the path. If I was to go there, I might die. Alright, so a very dangerous path and you are letting me go alone? Thanks. Alright, I don't have time to lose, so I will just go without him. Alright, just tell me how to get there. The footpath looks very long from the sky. I am following the route to the Palace of Stars from the sky. I still have some of my abilities that I learned from heaven, including the power of creation. I created a Pegasus that I am currently riding on. I've been flying for a few hours now in the northeast direction, which is a much shorter time in the human world. I've been getting images flashing in my head about God inside my body and what is happening on the outside. They are still mobilizing from what I see and hear in between all the static I get. Any and all cherubim that were on earth have been recalled to heaven to be given battlefield assignments. The Ophanim are still in the process of being recalled to heaven, with only a third being currently present in heaven. The entire Eastern Orthodox Church has mobilized all of their priests and swords people, while the Roman Catholic Church has mobilized just over a half of their members. All of the other religious pantheons have been carefully watching the mobilization of heaven's forces with a careful eye from what I can see. It is a tense situation to say the least. So far, I've been lucky to avoid any confrontations with any dragons or other yokai as I've either completely dodged them or managed to outrun them if they detected my presence. I've traveled past the Aztec, Mayan, and Hindu mythologies regions undetected on my way here, and I am deep in fallen angel territory now. In other words, the trip has been smooth sailing. A rather surprising idea considering what I've been going through the last few months on Earth and Heaven. Now that I'm in fallen angel territory, I just need to maintain my course as the Palace of Stars is, in Kane's words, a monument that is incapable of being missed. I looked down at the fallen angel territory for any signs of the Palace of Stars. All I see is a barren wasteland, complete with burnt-out trees and numerous craters dotting the surface. The terrain just looks like a war zone. Oh wait, I see something in the distance. A brown stone spiraling building, about 40 feet in height, catches my eyesight. Wait, I've seen that building in a book before? No, it can't be. The Tower of Babel? That is what the Palace of Stars is? It definitely a monument that catches my eye, and I feel a powerful fallen angel presence from within. That must be it. Alright, how should I make my entrance to them? Will my actions be perceived as aggressive, but more importantly, will lend me their help? I thought about it for a few seconds, and decided on my course of action. I'm just going to walk through the front door and tell them of my intentions. Can't hurt to be civil, can it? I am pleasantly surprised that being civil actually worked for one of the few times in my life. I descended from the sky on my Pegasus and then walked to the front of the Palace of Stars, which was a massive wooden door. I knocked on the door, which opened with 2 fallen angels guarding it. They asked me who I was and what I wanted, and I told them. They laughed in my face and told me to get out. I then managed to smite them with the power I have in here. I managed to smite them quietly and close the door behind me. Well, I tried being civil, didn't I? I then proceeded towards the source of the energy I'm feeling, and as such, walked the halls of the Palace of Stars, which is an empty, dark, and dead place with barren walls and unkempt floors. This place is completely dead. No one is around, no guards, no servants, no anything that I can see. I can't feel any energy signatures either, so if they are suppressing them, they are very good at either. This can't be right. A place like this should be more heavily guarded, or at the very least, have servants running around the place. I'm probably walking into a trap, but Turiel seems to be the only person I can turn to for help. God must not start the apocalypse, and I will stop that at all costs. I've been getting steadily closer to the source of the energy, and the walls around me are changing. Gone are the barren, painting-less walls, and here are the walls with portraits of fallen angels. All of the fallen angels are some that I've seen in the various manuscripts I read in heaven. Gadriel, Shazakiel, Espiel, and Yakum were only some of the numerous portraits I see hanging on the walls. All of these fallen angels were powerful 8 to 12 winged fallen angels. All of them were fallen angels' leaders. I'm right in front of the source of the energy, which I assume is the throne room. There is a giant marble door in front of me. All right, here goes nothing. I open the door and sure enough, I see a throne staring at me from across the room. Light is coming in front the massive windows, illuminating the smirking face sitting on the throne. Turiel. His pale white face, pitch white eyes, and flowing black hair is something that is forever etched into my mind as I looked at his pictures in the manuscripts. His gaudy way of dressing, a purple robe with a golden crown, was also shown in the manuscripts. I walked in and he looked amused as he waved his hand, causing the door behind him to slam shut. King of Purgatory, I've been waiting for you, he said in a Cockney accent. I'm sure you know why I'm here? I asked him. Ah yes, the million-dollar question. I'm very well aware of why are you in my presence. You've allowed God to take over your body, and therefore attempt to restart the apocalypse. I'm informed what goes on in the outer realm, thank you very much. He said in an arrogant voice. Why are the fallen angels I've met so far are all arrogant pricks? Well, you know why I am here then. Will you help me against God? I asked. Sure. Wait, what? I truly thought I would have to threaten him to get him to help me, but no. He just helps me? What's the catch? Sure? No strings attached. I asked as I laughed. No strings. The reason I'm helping you is actually rather simple. As amused as I am with the apocalypse about to start, the apocalypse happening is actually bad for me. The dead souls have to go somewhere, don't they? More fallen angel, devil and angel souls will come here, making the battle for souls that much more intense and vicious. More players in competition for the same territory. Alright, makes sense. Plus, I get to screw with God's plans. I've been inching for payback after he placed me in this awful place. He finished. There we go with the ulterior motive, but whatever help I can get, I'll use. Alright, so my idea to weaken God is to steal the souls from him. Cain says you might know a way to do that. I said as he laughed. Cain said that? I'm flattered, but yes, there is a way to weaken God from inside of here. Well, what is it? You need to go to the Axis Mundi, what that is right? He said as I thought of that name. Yes, it is the place inside Purgatory, the place where souls of the dead are said to be ferried into Purgatory. It is essentially the highway of souls to Purgatory. Its physical form is said to be a floating white portal in the middle of the Nehima Desert. Yeah, what it is the gateway for souls to get in here. I said as he wagged his finger. That isn't the only purpose. You see, the Axis Mundi can also act as a controlling portal for the body that Purgatory resides in. Impossible. You can take over control of my body by going into that portal? Then why haven't you or anyone else taken control of my body by going into the portal? I said as he rolled his white eyes. Foolish boy, if it were that simple, I would have done that a long time ago. You see, back when God and Lucifer roamed this place, there was an unspoken rule that existed among all the factions. If you try to take over the body of the wielder, which back then was Metatron's, your entire faction will be destroyed by one of the two largest factions, God's or Lucifer's. It is a policy of mutually assured destruction. That is why neither God nor Lucifer made his move on the body. And I can't do anything because God is too powerful for me to overpower for control of the body. He said, finishing his long statement. Alright, if you can't overpower God, what makes you think I can at this state? I asked him. You will get help once you are there if you read this chant. He said, scribbling something on a card that he took out of his robe. He threw the card at me, which I caught in my right hand. I took a look at the card and the words written on it. Enochian. The words are written in Enochian. I read the chant in my head to figure out its meaning. A smile formed on my face as I understood the meaning of the chant. We must free Lucifer to stop God. I stared up at Turiel, who looks amused at me. So, we are going to free Lucifer to stop God? I asked him. You have a problem with that? He smirked. Alright, I'm leaving to stop God. Can I have help from you? I asked him. I thought you'd never ask. He said, snapping his fingers. With that, I heard the sounds of boots hitting the ground. I spun around and saw them. Black masked, heavily armed beings behind me, and I turned back to see them standing in front of Turiel's throne as well. Each one that I saw was armed with a spear, long sword, or crossbow. I looked back at Turiel, who is smirking at me. What? A man can't have his private security? With Purgatory being the Wild West as you humans call it, I need all the protection I can get. He said as I felt all the auras of private army that Turiel has. There were more than 100 beings that are currently surrounding me in a circle. What are these beings? I feel their auras. They aren't all fallen angels. I said as he shrugged his shoulders. Guilty as charged. The bulk of my private security forces are fallen angels, but there are other creatures here. I am an equal opportunity employer, of course. There are vampires, harpies, werewolves, QB, and even an evil dragon in my security force. Turiel said, beaming with pride after saying the words evil dragon. Impressive. I've heard of the evil dragons as the fiercest, most destructive dragons around. Impressive, which one? I asked. The Yamada no Orochi. He said with a smug look on his face. Great, I will have a lot of support if the rumors of the Yamada no Orochi are true. Well, can we get going then? I asked as I don't want to waste any more time. Yes, but there is something I need to give you before you go on your foolish mission. He said, snapping his fingers. A servant in white presented a massive jewel-encrusted sword to him, and he examines the sword. I can feel the sword's aura from here. The aura is strange, not distinctly angelic, devilish, or pagan as far as I can feel. What is that sword? Do I want to know what that sword is? I asked. It is the Frostmourne. The Frostmourne? Interesting. Yes, you know of what it is now, don't you? It was Prince Agni's sword before his descent into evil. The soul-sealing sword came into my possession upon his death. I want you to have it. Just like that? Huh? You think poorly of me. The reason why I'm giving it to you is because I need you to succeed in your mission of freeing Lucifer. If you die, there will competition for territory in here once the devils, fallen angels, and angels pour in. So you'll take this sword to help you succeed in your mission. He said. Did he just read my mind? Alright, so once we get there, what do? I asked him. You purge the sword into the portal and speak the chant. That should work, from what I've gathered. But I could be wrong, but that is highly unlikely that someone like me would be wrong about anything. He said smugly. Arg, now I know why Michael hates Turiel with a passion. Alright, shall we get going? We mounted dozens of griffins and set off for the Axis Mundi. We are lucky that is it relatively close to the Palace of Stars. We are currently over the Nehima Desert, and should be there in a few minutes. I am in the lead griffin, Turiel's secondary griffin named Babylon. This griffin is a heavily armored, crimson-red griffin with spikes protruding from the armor. Turiel is to my right in his dark black griffin named Zodiac. His griffin is just as heavily armored as mine, and he is staring at me with a creepy smile. Behind us, there are his foot soldiers, each riding a plain brown griffin. Those that are flying around us are harpies and the evil dragon in its true form. The visions are coming back into my head. A tunnel. God is leading standing in front of a tunnel. Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel are standing right behind him. Each is in a massive suit of armor, looking sternly at God. God jumped into that tunnel, and the seraphs followed. Wait, I've seen that tunnel before. The tunnel to hell. The devils don't know about that entrance to hell, neither do the fallen angels, but the angels do somehow. The tunnel is magically enchanted by pagans, so God and the others have to fly into there. When Michael showed me it, it took them 5 minutes to reach hell. Alright, the faster we finish this, the faster I will get my body back. Kaya, go faster Griffin, faster. The Griffin responded by charging forward as dramatically increased in speed. I gripped the reins as I surged forward from the pack. I turned back to see everyone struggling to catch up. Issei, it is over those hills. Get ready. The Axis Mundi will be in the middle of the Plains of Souls. I'm not sure who will be there, but God must be anticipating this, so expect heavy resistance. Turiel shouted in my direction. All right, understood. I flew over the hills and saw it. The brightest white you can imagine. The white portal is just hovering over the ground. I descended in the griffin and walked towards the portal. I could feel the souls of the Dmed crying out to me, begging me to save them. I am far away from the portal, but I can see it glowing brightly as the rest of my support landed. I readied Frostmourne as I looked at Turiel, who nodded back. He shouted to his troops, who roared back to us. I'm happy that they have my back. I walked towards the portal, and became startled as white lights were launched from the portal. Hundreds of them came from the portal. Souls. I feel them being as us, materializing in front of us. Metatron, Sariel, Ragel. 3 seraphs of heaven materialized in front of us. You will not free Lucifer. Metatron uttered as Turiel came forward. Ragel frowned as Turiel came to my side. I need to free him to prevent the apocalypse. I said, trying to get them peacefully leave so I won't have to kill them. You will not free Lucifer, that is our father's orders. Metatron said as I noticed a smirk appear on Turiel's face. Well, it appears there is no other recourse. Attack! Turiel shouted as Sariel launched a thunderbolt at me. I instinctively raised Frostmourne up, and it absorbed the thunderbolt. I charged at Sariel, who I stabbed in the stomach before chopping off her head. It is a full-scale battle around me. Turiel is fighting Metatron in hand-to-hand combat. The Yamada no Orochi is fighting Ragel. The rest of the army is fighting the souls of heaven's forces, which are materializing around us. Sir Issei, we are here to assist you get to the portal. A voice said from behind me. I turned around with Frostmourne raised, and saw a dozen of Turiel's fallen angels behind me. Great. Let's go, I said, turning around and slicing the head off of an angel that was behind me. I charged back through the fight, killing anyone that was in my way by stabbing or decapitating them. Much blood was on my shirt as we made it within 100 meters of the portal. I feel familiar auras as I arrived near the portal. Rainer, Middled, Calawarner, Donisik, the ones that me and Michael killed when we found Asia and freed. You killed us. Rainer shouted with anger in their voices. Time for revenge. You will feel the pain we felt. Calawarner shouted as they charged at me with light spears. I dodged Calawarner's stab and countered with a swing of my Frostmourne, causing her head to go flying. I turned around to see Mitlet killed by one of the fallen angels in my group, and Dohansik battling another fallen angel. Rainer, I killed you because you deserve to die, I said, standing face to face with the fallen angel that was killed by my hand. You killed me. A human killed me. She shouted with fury as she chucked a light spear at me. I parried the light spear with Frostmourne and swung the blade for the final kill. I saw fear in her eyes as the blade arced, killing her by destroying her head. Alright, now that that is over, I have to unseal Lucifer. I rushed over the glowing white portal and readied Frostmourne. The fallen angels are covering me as I plunged the sword into the portal. A tremendous amount of energy was released, but I held firm and started chanting. O Morning Star, be free from the bounds of captivity. Please lend us to your strength, so that we may win this battle. Rise, O Morning Star. The portal became an eerie red as more power was emitted from the portal. I was almost pushed back as the energy came out. In an instant, I was forcefully dragged into the portal. What is happening to me? I am free-falling in a tunnel of pure light, and I can see the end. The end is a field which I am about to crash into. I position myself as I hit the ground, rolling out of the impact that would have broken many of the bones in my body. I look around me and felt them. Lucifer, Leviathan, Asmodeus, Beelzebub. Their souls are circling my body, their immense energies suffocating the air around me. Issei, take our powers, it is the only way to stop him. Lucifer shouted as the orbs floated in front of me. I reached out and absorbed their souls, letting their power into my body. It is overflowing from my body as I let the wings out of my back to let out the excess overflow from them. The ground started to violently shake underneath me. An earthquake. Chasms appeared on the ground as I saw a beam of white light descend from the sky. When the light died, I saw a figure standing there. My buddy. God. He looks displeased at me. You don't learn, do you? This will be futile. The apocalypse will happen. He shouted at me. Do you know what you are doing? You'll kill millions in the crossfire. To achieve paradise, that is a small price. He said as he materialized the sword of the Spirit in his left hand and the shield of Serial in his right hand. My body was cloaked in Roman armor. So I have to kill you to prevent the apocalypse? I asked as I materialized my own weapons. I materialized King David's armor set and the spear of Longinus. If that is what needs to be done, it will be done. I will kill you, God. Kill me? I'd like to see you try. He said with a sneer on his face. I rushed at him, moving my spear of Longinus at him. He parried the spear with the shield of Serial, a circular, bronze shield with angel wings on it. He moved the katana-shaped sword of the Spirit at me. I blocked it with King David's shield, countering with spear of Longinus. I swung the spear of Longinus, but God managed to duck underneath the swinging arc. I stared at him as we circled each other in this field. I entered, moving my spear at the center of his body. He dodged and then countered by slashing at my left side with his sword. My armor withstood the slashes, so I felt no pain nor blood loss. I got in closer to him, bashing him in the stomach with the shield, stunning him. He backed up, stunned as I swung my spear of Longinus at him. The spear barely hit his face, but it did, causing a small gash to appear on his left cheek. First blood. I smiled as he touched his face, drawing blood from the wound. He stared back at me, and I responded by flashing him another smile. Stop opposing me and embrace my plan for the world. Your plan is genocide. I'll do everything I can to stop it. Humans are going to die in the crossfire. How do you not care about that? I shouted as I moved the spear at his left leg, causing him to lift it up. Bingo. I quickly maneuvered the spear to the right, knocking his foot out of position, sending him to the ground. I jumped up and descended for the final strike. I saw fear in his eyes before he rolled out from underneath me. The spear hit dirt as it hit where he was. I quickly pulled the spear out to parry his sword. He managed to get inside as swung my spear. He managed to cut me on the left side of my stomach. It stings, but I can go on. I need to win this for the world. He smiled as I grabbed my side. Good, he fell for the trap. He charged it with his sword, trying to chop my head off with his sword. I swung my shield up, hitting him square in the face. He stumbled back, dazed from the strike as I closed in for the kill. I knocked away his sword with my shield and stabbed him in the stomach, where there is a little gap in protection, with my spear. He yelled out in pain as I retracted the spear before slashing his neck with the spear. He dropped his sword as he fell onto the ground. This is for everything that happened because of you. I shouted as I stabbed him in the face with the spear. His body shined a pearl white as the spear sank ever deeper into his body. His screams became louder as white light surrounded my entire body. He's dead. He's finally dead. It's me in my own body again. I stared at my hands. Yes, these are my hands and I am truly in my body. I stared at those around me. Gabriel, Michael, Raphael, and Uriel are staring back at me. Go back to heaven. I've changed my mind. The apocalypse will not happen. I said to them as I stared at the gate to hell, just in front of us. Phew. Made it just in time before the end of the world. But Father, Michael said to me before I cut him off. That's an order. Go now. I said as all four of them teleported away. I stopped it. The apocalypse is over. No, it's not. God, how are you still alive? It isn't going to end this way. My body, it isn't responding to my commands. I can't move. Your body shall be mine again. He's overpowering me. He's taking control again. Crap, I'm not letting him do this. I'll have to do this then. I focused in on the souls of purgatory as I felt God's power taking over my body. I saw all of them, all 100 billion of them. I took a deep breath before I absorbed all of them. Power. Absolute power. God's influence was quickly reduced to nothing now that I have all of these souls in my body. You fool! You'll kill yourself and destroy this body. I'd rather die than let you use this body for the apocalypse. I shouted as I teleported myself into the middle of the Pacific Ocean. I looked down at the calm sea before plunging myself into the water. No. Stop this at once. I ignored his screams in my head as I plunged myself further into the ocean. I soon touched the bottom of the sea floor, completely shrouded in darkness. I then looked at my right hand, which started to glow a bright white. I closed my eyes as I brought the hand closer to my chest. I let all the power in my body go to my hand as I am about to smite myself. The power of 100 billion souls for smiting will result in nothing being left. What are you doing? You'll kill us both. I'm going let all of these spirits free from purgatory. You'll never rise again. I placed the hand onto my chest and felt burning hot temperatures. I'm dying. And yet I feel fine about that. God will never rise again. Lucifer will never rise again. I stopped the apocalypse. There's no more pain, is this the end? I smiled the last time I possibly can. I've made peace with death, so come on afterlife. Here I come.